prey can swallow in a single gulp. With his position revealed, it locked eyes with the piglet and the mushroom. They stared at each other briefly after that first encounter. Once again, it tried to catch the piglet with its sticky tongue, but she dodged with ease. Unfortunately, the mushroom wasn't as lucky and was captured, which made him scream for help. She noticed her companion was in trouble. This filled her with rage at what the toad had done. She charged furiously toward it. The toad prepared to swallow the mushroom, while the piglet advanced fiercely. As its tongue retracted, it could only focus on the prey it had already captured. It was getting closer to swallowing it whole, but beneath it, the piglet was making her move. Desperate, the mushroom considered using his spore explosion as a defense. However, the piglet's hooves were ready. With a powerful charge, she struck the toad and it felt the impact. The pain caused its tongue to release the mushroom. He safely landed on the piglet's back, who was now very happy. This time, he was genuinely grateful for being saved by her once again. However, they were still not safe, and a slicing attack was approaching them. Sensing the danger, she jumped to avoid being hit. Looking back, they realized what they had narrowly escaped. The toad had been sliced entirely by that attack. Its pieces fell onto the prairie floor. Footsteps echoed, and they resembled those of an arthropod. The mushroom knew there was a more dangerous monster than the toad around. Near the toad's carcass, there was something similar to a praying mantis. It plunged one of its blades into the toad's flesh. Tearing off a piece, it began eating its prey right there. This was a blade mantis, level 19, the strongest of its kind, could cut through steel. Its defense and health points weren't impressive, but its attack was far too dangerous, boasting 280 points. While it ate, it wasn't entirely distracted and noticed there were more creatures nearby. With just the toad, it was already difficult. With this level 19 creature, acting rashly would mean they wouldn't make it out alive. The mantis calmly ate the piece of toad it held. Slowly, it sheathed its blade. The monster did this with the patience of a professional. Ready to attack, it widened the distance between its legs. Its stance was offensive, and its eyes were fixed on the piglet and the mushroom. If they were hit, it would be the end. The pig needed to be extremely cautious now. However, before it could act, a rock was thrown high into the sky. It flew high, distracting the mantis. As everything that goes up must eventually come down, the rock fell to the ground. They watched in surprise at what had just happened. That boulder seemed to have acted deliberately. What was left of the mantis lay beneath it. Its body was slowly absorbed, until nothing was left of it there. An opening slowly formed on the boulder, revealing a sinister colored eye. It stood there, motionless in front of them. It was a boulder mushroom, level 26. They mimic rocks until their prey is close enough, boasting good defense but being slow. The mushroom advised the piglet to back away slowly until they were no longer in the creature's line of sight. She followed his advice, moving slowly backward. The boulder remained still in the grass. Then it decided to return to hiding, transforming back into just another lone rock amidst the landscape. Continuing their journey, the mushroom was reaching his limit. The piglet pushed him up the hill, but she was also exhausted. They walked a little further despite this. When they reached the nearest shade, they lay down in the grass, worn out. The piglet caught her breath while watching a dandelion. There were many of them around, and she began observing them. This caused her to be momentarily distracted by their beauty. However, the mushroom wanted to know if it was safe to stay in that spot. Something catches his attention. The place is vast, the plain stretches to the sea, and there are enormous creatures flying in the sky. This world can be very dangerous, but it's beautiful in equal measure. While he was daydreaming, the system screen appeared in front of him. It informed him that this world resembles his own, with natural laws and its own ecosystem, and he imagined himself at the lowest part of the food chain. If it weren't for the piglet, he would already be dead, but didn't want to give up. He planned to become stronger and one day return to his original world. With this in mind, he called for the system, which responded promptly. He asked for another mission to receive more rewards. There were 3 difficulty levels, easy, medium, and hard. It was up to him to choose. Fortune favors the bold, so he decided to check the hard mission. He would have to defeat one of the divine generals of the Storm Grass King. That was definitely beyond his reach. So he opted for the easiest mission instead. He needed to collect 10 red berries, which would earn him 50 experience points. When eaten, they would restore a bit of health and reduce hunger. He thought this would be very easy, so he called the piglet to go with him. The little mushroom started running for the grass. He began his search for those small fruits. Soon enough, he found a small cluster of them. Additionally, there were many more like those in that area. The mission was definitely easy. Before long, he had collected 6 of the 10 berries. The piglet was quick and managed to pick a few more as well. But the mushroom noticed something strange and became confused. His mission progress had dropped to 4 berries. Hungry, she had started eating the berries he had collected. She had simply eaten them all. Furious, he scolded the piglet for eating all the items he needed to complete the mission. Enraged, he was determined to show her who was really in charge. He swung his hand swiftly toward the piglet, but his insignificant blow was absorbed by her and she didn't even notice it was an attack. She continued eating the berries calmly. Adjusting her position, she accidentally bumped into the mushroom, sending him flying. Feeling she had bumped into something, she looked back. Then she wagged her tail, happy to be with the mushroom. He was terrified, thinking she intended to attack him and retaliate. In the end, she tossed him playfully into the air, thinking it was a game. Now he had a new mission, to collect 30 fruits to earn 70 experience points and an inventory box. Next, he needed to catch 15 fish to earn 80 experience points, using his spores to make the task easier. Then he collected 20 mineral stones to gain 100 experience points. Time passed as he completed these missions and the day moved on. Eventually, he reached level 9 with 75 health points and 39 attack points. The piglet ate everything he gathered, and despite working hard, he only gained 3 levels. Exhausted, he thought about resting as well. Snoring, she dreamed of all the things she had eaten. Taking advantage of the opportunity, he decided to take on one more easy mission while the pig was sleeping. He needed to absorb all the items he had collected to earn 200 experience points and an exclusive skill. Another mission offering a special reward. Absorbing everything he had collected was the easiest mission of the day. He opened his inventory to retrieve what he still had stored. With that, a pile of food appeared. The smell of it reached the piglet's nose. This made her wake up immediately, wagging her tail in happiness. The mushroom told her she had already eaten plenty in the morning, and that this was his. Upon hearing his refusal, she looked disheartened. Just as he was about to eat the fruit, he glanced at her out of the corner of his eye. Feeling pity, he threw her the fruit he was about to eat. She had definitely been sad, but that small gesture lifted her mood. She danced for joy for receiving that fruit. Since he had a few extra items, he decided to give her the excess, but he asked her to eat sparingly because he didn't plan to give her more once she finished eating. Sitting under the tree's shade, they both ate. Taking a bite of the stone, he ended up fracturing one of his teeth. The truth was, he had no idea how to eat that stone, so he asked the system how he should do it. Reviewing the mission status, he realized he hadn't absorbed anything yet. This made him question if the system was tracking it correctly, as he had already eaten 5 berries in total. The system hinted that he should carefully consider what the mission was asking him to do. It was to absorb, not just eat the fruits. Finally, he realized that the absorption process might be different. That large mushroom from earlier had absorbed the mantis by sitting on it. Looking at his own underside, he wondered if he would have to do the same to absorb the items. Finally, the moon rose into the sky full of stars. Scattered on the ground were the items he needed to absorb. He sits on the fish. Immediately, his backside begins the absorption process. His mission was finally completed. The feeling of eating in this way is truly mysterious, to say the least. With this, he had enough experience to level up once again. He is now level 10 and has learned the decomposition skill. If mushrooms belong to nature's decomposers, he wonders what this skill is for. The decomposed matter is used to nourish the player. He can do this with monsters up to level 20 in inorganic matter. He understood its purpose, but after absorbing all of that, he feels quite tired. That mission was of easy difficulty, but in practice, it felt like a medium one. The little pig sleeps happily with her apple given by the mushroom. Watching her, he imagines they've done enough for the day. It was time to rest for the adventures that would begin at dawn. The day breaks, and the little pig is determined to eat all the apples she can find. His next mission is to kill 10 monsters from that region. His missions, although easy, are gradually becoming more challenging. However, he and the pig are now level 10. As long as the monsters are weaker, they won't have difficulties. So he called her over, as if she was satisfied it was time to begin the mission. This world is still different from a game. Monsters don't just appear out of nowhere. While they walked, the pig's attention noticed something. Both she and the mushroom became alert. They had spotted the first target of the day. This small creature is a slime. It is at level 8 and can only be defeated when its heart is damaged. When it dies, it becomes a gel used as an ingredient in some medical recipes. They prepare to move towards the slime. With no time to lose, the time for the fight has come for both of them. The mushroom uses its charge, hitting the slime squarely. This causes it to be thrown across the grass. The impact's force left it disoriented. The mushroom believes that one more strike should be enough to finish off that creature. The little pig also advances. It's her turn to attack. Her strike is strong enough to make the creature explode. After that, she lands calmly on the ground. She turns majestically towards her mushroom companion. Such a display of strength left him shocked. Even though they are at the same level, he's nowhere near her abilities. But this filled him with anger. He had finally found a weak monster for the mission, and she stole the achievement that should have been his. However, the system counted that creature, and the tally had begun. Moreover, he received 9 experience points for it. The pig spits a stone from her mouth, and she threw it towards the mushroom, who looked at it suspiciously. With the stone in his hands, he started observing the object. The team stone, which had absorbed a lot of moon energy. When two recognize each other as a team, they share missions and experience. This stone was among those they had collected before. He and the little pig are a team now. He looks at his colleague, intrigued. The little pig seems a bit down about what happened. He apologized to her and promised to find something tasty for her to eat soon. With these simple words, the little pig's mood was restored. Immediately, she began to move through the forest. She looked everywhere as if searching for something. The mushroom only hopes she doesn't understand that by forming a team, all they will do is chase after food. But he chose not to think about it, as she had proven to be truly reliable. They had now destroyed 4 monsters. All they managed to kill were slimes, and they even had to flee from stronger monsters. The mission won't be easy. As they walked, he asked where the little pig was taking him if they weren't lost, until she decided to stop near a root. A piece of the plant moved quickly toward them, but the little pig managed to dodge, avoiding contact. Alert, the mushroom asked who was attacking them. From inside a dry tree, there was a pair of glowing eyes. The possessed stump is at level 18. It is resistant to flames and is a fusion of evil spirits with the trunk of a dead tree. Once discovered, it attacks them with much more aggression. Even so, the duo managed to dodge the monster's attack. Looking at the mark on the ground left by the attack, the mushroom was surprised by the strength of a higher level monster. They need to be cautious, as they already have some synergy. They exchange confident looks. With quick evasive maneuvers, they execute a combined attack. As soon as the distance is reduced, both charge forward, ready to strike that cursed stump. Without defending itself, the monster is hit directly by them. Even though they attacked, the force of the impact repels them away, putting the effectiveness of the attack in doubt. The mushroom miscalculated. He didn't expect the recoil from the attack to cause injuries to him and the little pig. Worried, he looks to the side to see if the little pig managed to recover from the damage. The recoil was worse for her because her attack has a chance to stun the target. However, if its defense is too high, the attacker gets stunned instead. Meanwhile, the stump stands firm and strong, seemingly unscathed. Facing a monster 8 levels stronger than them is truly challenging. But this is no ordinary mushroom, and he has an idea. While he was thinking, the stump attacked again, this time targeting the little pig, who was out of combat due to being stunned. To block the view of the attack, he uses a spore explosion. The cloud obscures the vision, and amidst it, the mushroom manages to rescue his friend, who is still stunned. Soon, the mist begins to dissipate, and the stump searches for them. It looks around, unaware of what is happening. The mist finally clears, but it doesn't find them anywhere. Since it doesn't intend to search for them, it continues its way through the forest, ignoring the fact that they were there. Finding a spot among the bushes, it goes back to pretending to be just an innocent wooden stump. The mushroom is relieved that they are faster than it and manage to hide. The little pig is conscious again. Unfortunately, her nostrils pick up the smell of the spores. This drives her crazy as she rushes out of the hiding spot, to the mushroom's complete despair. He does his best to hold her back and prevent them from getting into more trouble. At that moment, she was being a terrible team member, ignoring the danger of the situation. Happily, she starts licking the mushroom's cap. Faced with the situation, he feels powerless and simply asks her not to eat him. Partially understanding what he said, the little pig suggested they should look for something else since they can't defeat that stump. However, he is determined and says it's all part of his infallible plan. Still hiding, he is sure the monster isn't too far from them. Among the wood, small mushrooms start sprouting. Soon they are completely whole and functional. As if sick, the stump begins to lose its health 5 points at a time. This is the moment the mushroom orders the little pig to attack the enemy. She agrees with him and gets ready to charge. Both jump towards the stump, which is now agonizing from the infection. Once again, they strike it with all their strength. This time, there was no recoil damage, and they managed to land on the ground normally. The monster had been defeated by them. He gained 100 experience points, and the little pig gained 70. With this victory, both advanced to level 11. This made him enthusiastic. This strategy is effective against any stump they may encounter in the forest. As his friend continues walking, he briefly becomes pensive. Then he asks her to wait a moment. She looks back to see what's happening. The mushroom climbed onto the body of the defeated monster and pressed his cap against it. He is determined to use all of his power to absorb that matter. The absorption process finally begins. He makes an effort to decompose the entire body. At the end of the process, he spent 50 mana points, but he had achieved his goal. This increased his proficiency with this skill, and he gained 200 experience points and 2 additional skills. Now the decomposition is on cooldown. Unfortunately, despite gaining a lot of experience, he can only use decomposition again in 24 hours. Looking at the system, he wanted to know what one-time use skills are. These are 2 skills he acquired from this monster, which he can only use once. If they have a duration, they are limited to a maximum of 10 minutes. Camouflage makes him become an object of the environment, and bark skin turns her into wood, increasing her defense. Because of this, he became very confident that he will be able to defeat the Demon King. The sky is illuminated by the moonlight, and inside his shelter, it is possible to see there is light within. The campfire burns, lifting soot into the air. Next to it, the little pig sleeps peacefully. The mushroom is now level 15, and his attack and health points are significantly higher. The same can be said for the little pig, who is now at level 14. Even though their progress is linear, he knows that stopping Golem's followers is now simply impossible. Pensive, he asks the system how long it will take to change class if he continues at this pace. The system tells him that monsters do not change classes but grow stronger through evolution. This is a new possibility for him, as he doesn't know what evolution entails. Each monster has its own evolutionary paths, but they can also acquire special mutations depending on their environment. Because of this, he wants to know when he will be able to evolve. The first evolution mission will come at level 20, the second at level 40, and so on. He is only 5 levels away, and he wants to know the most powerful path for a mushroom to take. He doesn't want to become like that rock he saw earlier. The system can show him some evolutionary